What about Mario Golf? Mario Golf?
I was usually fair.
Mario Golf?
Mario Golf? Yeah.
We golf, but I just won't register. All right, Donor, let's get working. All right, so yesterday you had the assignment. Hopefully everybody turned that in. You had page response. For what was the acronym again? Connor? Mania. Yeah, good job. So make sure you turn that in. I'll agree that. Probably, it'll definitely be in by the end of it. All right, so the alliance systems we talked about already. We mentioned them quite a bit. Okay, Ridley, like we said, okay, they will be jumping sides just a year into the war. So there you go. There you go. I'll give you some time, write them down. I'll put the map down a while up front. So reminder, what is due tomorrow? Map activity. Yep, good job. And for the central powers, I told you to color them in what? Red, highlight red, whatever. Yeah, and then the allied powers blue, neutral country, yellow. All right, here's a quiz. Friday, yep, good job. So it's going to be on the iPad. I'll have the map up on the board, and you can just kind of refer to that. And give it a the answer key, yeah. Is there any smiling faces up there? Are you serious?
Yep. Yeah, look hard. I can see that. It's visible from the
Right now?
Yeah.
You're just having me look for it.
No.
Up there.
And I, it's right there.
Oh, is it the dots here? Blended and
It might be.
Is that it?
It might.
I did. All right, I'll figure it out later. Don't worry. It keeps me going throughout the day. Where is this smiley face? All right, okay. So yesterday your assignment was about mania. Okay, I wanted you to write a page response detailing about how all these causes come together, how they all draw together. And like I said, hopefully you have that turned in for the end of class here. So with mania, where do we start? Let's start with that. What does it mean again? Connor. Yeah, militarism. Yeah, good job. So with militarism, this is the build-up, the glorification of one's military. So remember, social Darwinism, right? Survival of the fittest. The only way these European countries are going to compete with one another is if they build up their militaries. If they don't, they're going to fall behind. They're probably going to get taken over. Right? We also talked a little bit about an example for militarism. What example did I talk about, Paul? Yeah, good job. Between who? Great Britain. Yeah, good. So between Great Britain and Germany, this naval arms race was seeing who's the next top dog in the world. All right, good, good. So that heated rivalry is going to push Great Britain and Germany at odds to a point where that's going to actually drive Great Britain and France together as they have a common enemy. At one point they hate each other, but now all of a sudden with Germany rising to power, that's going to push them together. All right, what else did we talk about? Hey, the alliance systems. Okay, this is your bell ringer here for today. So we talked about the Triple Alliance already. Who is it again? Triple Alliance? What?
It's great, great.
Who?
Oh, the things. Germany, Austria-Hungary.
Yeah, good job. So we got Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. We already mentioned why these countries want to link together. Right, like I mentioned, I got to see it where I'm at. Italy will jump sides. Okay, the reason for it, their promised land, and we'll talk. Right after World War I, they don't get that land, which is going to push them to join the Axis powers and get World War II. All right, so with that, okay, the Triple Alliance is formed. Right, eventually that will be known as the what? Because it's right smack dab in the middle of the year. What is it known as? Go ahead, Parker. The Central Powers, good. So with the Central Powers, the main three that I'd like you to know, the Central Powers, is Germany, Austria, Hungary, and then the Ottoman Empire. You can see the Ottoman Empire up here. It's right here towards the bottom, right by the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, called the Turkish Empire. It'll be known as Turkey. But like I said, Italy will jump sides. So the Central Powers, those are the countries I'd like you to mention. Okay, all right. So we also have the Triple Entente, right? So who's involved in the Triple Entente? Triple Entente. Go ahead, Chris. Russia. Yeah, good job. So you got Russia and France, they're coming together because Germany rising to power. France already just got invaded, so they need to make sure that they're protected. That Germany's going to have to fight a two-front war at the very beginning if this war starts. And like I said already, Great Britain's jumping in because that naval arms race. Right? They realize that Germany might overtake them as the rising world power. So they have to join in with an old-time enemy, with France. Okay, all right, so they're the alliance systems. The Allied powers will change a little bit. Russia will jump out of the war. They'll be going through their own revolution. So we'll talk about this communist revolution here soon and how that's going to change the tides, change this paranoia, this fear of communism spreading all throughout the world. So we'll talk about that. And then obviously the United States will join in with the Allied powers. Right? Japan will also be included with the Allied powers. For the most part, they're duking it out in Asia. Okay, a lot of these territories that were controlled by Germany, right? They're taking them out. Okay, we'll mention they'll change their viewpoints on the Western world, on the United States, Great Britain, here in the future. But we'll say that for another day. All right, okay. Then we have N. What is that? Nick. Nationalism, good job. And we already mentioned about how this is an extreme sense of national pride, patriotism in one's country. And that's fueling this competition even more in Europe. Okay, we talked about how Germany unified and how that was fused together by nationalism. Okay, a lot of it because of warfare, a lot of it because of glorification of the military, but at the same time with culture. Okay, we talked about this culture with a story of the Seven Wars, right? Snow White, Seven Wars. That's important. That's giving the country a little bit of history. Okay, all right. What else? What else here? I. Jason, what's the I? Imperialism. Yeah, good job. So this is a bigger, stronger country taking over a weaker country or territory for resources, raw materials to expand their sphere of influence, right? Okay, we also talked a little bit about how Franz Ferdinand was parading around in his annexed section of the Balkan region, which will lead to what? What happens to Franz Ferdinand? Poor guy. Go ahead, Olivia. Yeah, good job, the assassination, which draws all these causes together. All right, so we see how it goes, right? Okay, good, good, good. Here are your terms for today. Here are your terms. All right, so we got Kaiser Wilhelm the second now. The second, this is the guy that's pushing towards warfare here. The Schlieffen plan, whoa. Schlieffen plan, we'll talk about that today. We'll read more about it. Are you serious? Jeez. Who knows, maybe the 3 minutes left to fun. What? All right, then you got the Maginot Line. So the Maginot Line. We'll talk more about this when we get to World War II, but this is starting to be developed here right after this Franco-Prussian. All right, so Kaiser Wilhelm II, what do we have? So obviously, son of who? Kaiser Wilhelm I. Who was crowned where? Where was he crowned? The first Kaiser here. Where was he crowned? Where was he crowned? Go ahead, Wyatt. Palace of Versailles. Yeah, good job. After Franco-Prussian War, this finally unified Germany as one. okay? And a way to try to throw salt in the wound to their rival now, France, they crowned the Kaiser, Emperor, King, whatever you want to describe that, that's what that title means, as Emperor, as King of Germany, okay, the Kaiser. So Kaiser Wilhelm II, right? He's a little bit different when it comes to his persona, when it comes to his mentality. He's trying to strive for this German Aryan culture, this Aryan belief that Germany is superior to all, and he'll go out to the limits of warfare to prove it, right? To the point where he'll take on anybody, right? He doesn't care about fighting a two-front war, right? He'll even push out Otto von Bismarck when it comes to his decision making. So we already mentioned about Otto von Bismarck, right? He's known for unifying Germany together. He's also known at preventing the war from happening in the late 1880s with what conference? As they're talking about the scramble for Africa here, the Berlin Conference. Yeah, good job. So if you're Kaiser Wilhelm II, kind of younger at the time, right? And as you're taking the throne, you would want to have Bismarck on your side, right? Yeah, but a lot of people say, a lot of historians describe this as a kind of a rivalry between the two. Wilhelm II wanted to rule in his power, his authority, and try to push out the German statesman Bismarck. And the reason for it is because his decorated past. He wanted to try to make a name for himself. And he'll do so at the cost of warfare with a lot of different countries. All right, so that's one thing to know about Wilhelm II. All right, later, after the war, he'll be pushed out. Right? He will actually be exiled and taken away from Germany so that he doesn't have too much of decision making anymore. All right, so Schlieffen plan, what we got? Schlieffen plan. We talked a little bit about this when we introduced the cafeteria fights. We talked about this cafeteria fight. That's important. Chris. Yeah, good job, right? Good job. So we'll talk a little bit today about the Schlieffen plan. Okay, like I mentioned, Germany took Alsace-Lorraine, that territory right here, right along the Rhine River, right? After the Franco-Prussian War. It's rich with coal. That's going to fuel a lot of their industries and factories, produce a stronger military. Also, with the next term here, Maginot Line. This will be more towards World War II, but I just want to make sure you guys know this is the border between France and Germany. If you're France, what do you think is going to happen? If Germany's going to invade you, it's probably going to happen right through here, right? Right through this line that they share a border with. But Germany thought of a different plan, a different means of attack. They're like, yeah, they're going to expect this. Right? Also, they're defending this line pretty heavily. Right? They just got destroyed by us in literally a couple months during that Franco-Prussian War. Okay, now if Germany's going to attack, well, okay, it's probably going to be through this line. But Germany decides, well, we're going to actually go through neutral Belgium to attack. And the reason for it is because, well, who's going to expect this? Right? Also, do you think Belgium's going to stop the mighty German army? No, not at all. Right? So they march their troops right through Belgium to attack France. Okay, one thing to note though, with this plan, which we'll talk about, Paris is pretty darn close to the border of Belgium. It's really close. So that is another reason why they decided to march right through Belgium. A little bit easier. Also, if they're marching through Belgium, it's along the what? The coastline, right? So if they can solidify this coastline, who can they prevent from joining in the war? Why? Yeah, Great Britain. Good. So this plan, pretty smart. It's a good idea. But we'll talk how it kind of stalls out. And it really doesn't work out the best for Germany. Okay. But like I mentioned, that cafeteria fight scene, okay, towards the end with Germany, as they're looking at France, they roll up their sleeves and punch Belgium. That's what that means. That's the Schlieffen. Yeah. Okay. Flag it up here. Let me show you. All right. Okay. So moving on here. What's up, Chris?
In the first two wars, Germany and France got to be important. Why didn't they just fall in Italy to attack?
Well, one of the biggest that's a good question, but Italy's not as near as strong and not near as confident as you know. They changed sides right at the beginning, so their loyalty is kind of towards the end here. Right? Yeah,
Attack Russia.
It's true.
But Japan just did what Germany did earlier.
Yeah.
Russia was attacking Japan. They signed it out. Japan did the same thing.
Yeah.
Right back.
Oversimplified. Okay, so anyway, like I said here, with these allied powers here, central powers, like I mentioned, Italy will change sides. Okay, so they will jump ship. They'll join the allied powers because they're promised more land. At the end of the war, well, we'll talk. Italy gets kind of screwed out of it. And that's what propels and pushes them to maybe form alliance with Germany once again. Start World War II. So we'll talk about that. We'll mention it. That's going to fuel a lot of hatred towards the Allied powers and this new order that was established in the League of Nations. All right, but we already talked about the Central Powers already. We mentioned about the Allied powers. One thing to note, though, with the Ottoman Empire, they're kind of falling behind, right? So Turkey, right down here, guys, they're falling way behind. They're like the old man of Europe. Okay, they're not industrialized as these other European countries. They're kind of just holding on from ancient Roman times, literally, right? Yeah, they're a little bit more adaptive than that, but at the same time, they're kind of falling behind. When it comes to their superiority, right, it's lacking. And for Germany and Austria-Hungary, it's more of a liability in many cases. All right, so moving on. Here's the Schlieffen plan, okay? So I want to talk about the Schlieffen plan. With Germany, they thought, well, as we're getting involved with this war, okay, we realize that they're gonna be fighting a two-front war from the very beginning. Why? What was that reason? What was that alliance system that was established where Germany's gonna fight that two-front war from the beginning? Who do they fight? Obviously, France and who's on the other side? Well, Russia. Yeah, good job. One thing to know about Russia, though, are they industrialized yet? No, not really. Okay, they're falling way behind. Do you think they have the means of transportation to transport troops and materials to the front line quick and efficient? No, they don't. So if you're Germany, you're sitting there thinking, well, if we attack France and defeat them within a couple of months, like we did in the Franco-Prussian War, we can actually send all of our troops over to Russia real quick before they're even mobilized. Okay, so Russia, like I said, with the lack of industrialization, a lack of modernization, that's one of those things where Germany thought they could just quickly defeat France, get rid of them, I guess you could say, the stronger opponent, and then focus all their attention on Russia. And at the same time, prevent Great Britain from landing troops here along the northern part of France. So overall, this idea was smart, right? It was something that would maybe work, but they kind of underestimated Russia's ability to mobilize their troops. And at the same time, they underestimated too Great Britain's ability to put the troops on the ground. So the Schlieffen plan, this was actually designed before the war. This was actually designed in the early 1900s, and it was kind of one of those plans that was put up on the top shelf, waiting for the opportunity of warfare. So like I already said with Kaiser Wilhelm II, he was looking for this conflict. He was looking for this war. He thought, well, there's no one going to challenge us. We just defeated, right, Austria in the 7 Weeks War, the Franco-Prussian War, right, a couple of months we defeated France. There's going to be no one that can really deter us. So with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Germany jumped on this opportunity. They thought this was the opportunity of a lifetime to try to spread our Aryan culture, spread our ability to dominate all of Europe. So with that, they unleashed the Schlieffen plan. Like I said with the vocab, if you're France, you're probably thinking that Germany's going to invade right through this border that we share. But Germany decides to launch this invasion right through neutral Belgium. So for Belgium, it's like a swinging door here. There's no way for them to stop this invasion and to stop Germany from advancing their troops through this small country. But with Germany, they thought if they could march through Belgium and solidify here the northern part of France, they can prevent Great Britain from landing and sending their troops into Europe. And at the same time, Paris is right here. So it's pretty darn close to the Belgian border. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. One thing to note, though, it's slowed up. Okay. Germany didn't really expect France to actually have troops prepared, waiting at the northern part of France. Okay. France was throwing everything they could at trying to stop and try to hold Germany off until their backup comes. All right. So once Great Britain enters the fight, it's going to be a little bit different. Right. That is what's going to cause a stalemate really here in Western Europe. And like I said, Russia actually mobilized their troops a little bit quicker than what Germany could expect too. So the Schlieffen plan, for the most part, it didn't work out. It was a great idea, right? It was a great idea, but it was one of those things that kind of fell apart. But from the beginning, they thought if they could march through Belgium, it'd act like a swinging door. See how the movements kind of look like a swinging door in a way, right? They thought they could come in, swing down, and actually trap a lot of the troops here that are focused along the line between France and Germany. Okay, so they thought they could just swoop down through, capture Paris, take over Paris, then move the troops down, and really try to troops in the surrender, done, right away. Quick, efficient means of taking over the plan. So, sounds like a good idea, but yeah, just didn't want to have fun.
So Italy was on their side, why didn't they just take half their troops to the western front and send half their troops to Austria-Hungary and Italy upper the bottom?
Like, just like coming down through here.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question, but there is a mountain range that runs through here. Yeah, right, so that's one thing why.
Napoleon did it.
Well, at the time, the movement and mobilization of troops kind of goes through railroads, okay, by trades. So it was kind of hard to do that. I wouldn't say it was impossible, but it was one of those things that kind of deterred it even try. But like I said, Italy was on the fence from the very beginning. Right? All they wanted was land. What's up?
I think with the Schlieffen plan was it probably, sorry, it probably would have worked if Germany did not have to send back troops.
Yeah.
It's like the top arrow there, they didn't even get to take part in the Schlieffen plan, they had to go back. Because Austria-Hungary did not know how to defend to save their life.
Yeah, that's one of Germany's downfalls. Their buddies, their allies, even in World War II, they just didn't work out the way they wanted. Yeah. So with Austria, they're kind of behind too. So yeah, they have to actually send troops over to try to protect, let's say, the Eastern Front against Russia, try to solidify that front. So yeah, good. So we'll talk about that with World War II with Italy as well. They actually have to back them up and save them quite a bit, which kind of halts their plans of invasion and advancement. But think of the Schlieffen plan, like I said, this idea to move through Belgium and to act like a swinging door, capture Paris, and then just try to really encircle the troops here on the national line. Again, there were distractions. I'm not saying that Germany didn't send any troops here at this border. They did send troops down to try to distract them, try to pull all their forces here to that national line. But the goal was to try to really attack them here at the top, northern part of France, and beat them pretty quick. All right, okay, so. Geez, here it is. Oh no. All right, so we'll talk about trench warfare tomorrow, the Western Front, and how this is going to be a brutal, bloody stalemate. All right, so here's your assignment. This is due Friday, okay? I'll give you another day for this one, all right? Sound good? Okay. Whoa, look at this guy here. Okay. So as we're moving into the Western Front, trench warfare, okay, I just want to make sure we talked about the Schlieffen plan, how it was a design that looked to be successful, that on paper seemed to be a great plan, but it just didn't work out. When everyone wants to know. There we go. All right, so here's what the assignment looks like. It's not too long. I say that line a lot there. I can say that line. It's not too bad. Oh, there's a picture too to break it up a little bit. Nice. There's the map I just showed you. And then there's the questions.
It's only a short little
Not
paragraph.
Not bad. Okay. All right. So you guys know what to do here. Again, what's due tomorrow? The map. Dora the Explorer. The map, and then yes, the Schlieffen plan is due when? Friday. Yep, good. When's the quiz? Friday. Yep, good.